All right, here we go. It's the Dani Cutler Show on KWSS 93.9 FM and KWSS.org. And I am so excited because I have not had an interview with these wonderful people in a year, almost to the day, I would say a year. Those of you who are listening on KWSS, I have the Woodworks with me. But those of you who are looking on Zoom right now, you can see them waving. So, hi, you guys.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you guys. Look, I got Stan on my shirt here today because Sarah Robinson Band.
Two faces of his on this whole video thing going on.
I know. I got to watch it or his ego's just going to.
Yeah. Right. We're going to switch places and we're going to be stuck with this shirt version of Stan.
There we go. Well, if we had the green screen action going, we could probably do something like that. Ooh. I know. Hindsight. He's like, I got you. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It is wonderful to see you again. And I mean, before I hit record, we were talking about this, that I had you guys all set up to come into the studio last March and talk about a release show. Was it a release? It was a release, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. EP, right? Yeah, an EP, Glorious Episodes. And everything got canceled just right before we were about to have it, so it ended up being canceled as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy time because I remember I held off to like almost the very last moment and just was like, I mean, it was just constant. Do I have him over? Do I not have him over? What do I do? What's gonna happen? And yeah, so hey, a year in the waiting to have you guys back with me in some form. So many things to talk about. First thing is, you've got this new album coming out. It is called Down by the Old Pig Canal, and it is going to be released. Ooh, yes. That's some great artwork. Oh my gosh. Who did the artwork for that?
So our friend Melissa Lowe.
Melissa Rose.
AKA Melissa Rose.
Yeah.
She hand drew this with ink on paper, and it turned out fantastic.
Yeah, it did. That's wonderful. Wow. It's amazing. And you just dropped a new video as well for one of your first singles from this album. Well, not the first single, one of the singles from the album. Yeah. It's been a long time. You know, you've probably had some of these things on the album sitting for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the single is Old Habits, which was played when you were actually on Dub's show. Oh my gosh, was it last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. 2 weeks. 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So he played it on his show Thursday nights, and the video just dropped last week. And good job, claps for Stan.
Yeah, I know he's a freaking maverick when it comes to that stuff.
No, it was great. It was great. So, how has the last year been? I don't want to make it that broad. I don't know. Yeah. How was it for you? We'll take this angle. So you're all ready to do this release. Boom, everything stops March 2020. What were your initial thoughts and feelings on all of this? It's a loaded question, I know.
Yeah, I think so much. We didn't know what we were gonna do at that point. We did end up doing a live stream immediately on the date that it was supposed to happen, and that kind of started picking up steam at that point, live streams, and I think we kind of figured at that point that we'd be doing live streams for a couple of months, maybe at the most, instead of
being a whole year.
A year, yeah.
This will all be over by summer, yeah.
I just can't believe it. No matter what anybody says, I'm just like, oh, what is it? What is it?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, and nobody really knew. It's like we knew, but we didn't know exactly how far out it would go. I don't think anybody knew. Even the scientists were just like, okay, we're just going to see what happens here. I mean, it was quite insane. But yes, the live streams, I mean, yours was one of the first that I ended up watching because, it was kind of this is our replacement for actually having our EP release. So, and then it just kind of picked up steam for a while, but then it died out. By the end of the summer, it was like everyone was burned out on the live streams.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But so this album, have you did you end up adding a lot of new material to this album over this past year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was.
I'd say it's about half and half. Half the songs we started recording before pandemic. The last half we wrote during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple songs that just popped right up though.
Yeah.
Last minute type writing.
Yeah.
You probably had some inspiration from the pandemic itself.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny when you think about, I've been talking to a lot of artists and people about silver linings during all this, because even though it was incredibly tragic and there were a lot of, you know, I mean, terrible things that have come out of it, there have been silver linings. And one of those things is that from the artist point of view, it did force everybody to kind of step back and okay, let's focus on something different than just preparing for our show and preparing for our tour. Let's like take it back and be a little more creative and see what happens. There was a lot of that I saw and heard, because I have no lack of new music over this past year. It's been pretty amazing from that point of view. So that's been good. Another thing for you I would consider maybe a silver lining is, I mean, it didn't happen on your 10th anniversary of being a band. If you're gonna like reach for those silver linings. So congratulations, 10 years of the Woodworks.
Yeah.
Wow,
I know. I can't believe it. I mean, I've probably known you half of that time by now. So I mean, it's nuts to think about that. Time has no meaning anymore. So it
really doesn't.
I know, it's crazy. So 10 years. How have you felt the band as a whole? I mean, you've always been this lineup, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the entire time.
You originally had a fourth member.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Our first 6 months, we had a fourth member. We were more like folk oriented. And he decided to leave the band just because of his job, and he's getting married and just really didn't have time to focus on it. So it was very like mutual, like not like band drama or anything, but
right.
We just kind of decided after that point, like the three of us were still really,
we're still clicking.
Yeah.
Felt like we would match up pretty well. Mm-hmm. So we decided to keep going on.
Yeah.
Nice. So was there ever a thought of maybe trying to find another fourth member?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah.
And then we just decided the three of us are holding it down pretty well and just kind of kept.
Well, it works. If my opinion matters at all, it works.
It would work. Oh.
It would work. Oh my goodness. Hashtag dad jokes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's been good. What do you think, other than deciding to continue being a three-piece and 2 out of 3 of you being married to each other, what do you think? Oh my goodness. What do you think one of the biggest you guys, I'm trying to conduct an interview here. Jeez. Oh my goodness. What do you think one of the greatest changes has been for the Woodworks over this past decade?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm throwing the hard questions today.
Look at the grays in the hair.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
I think it's just that we've all been like interested in experimenting with what we can do with like our instruments and kind of the different kinds of genres of music we can kind of incorporate into what we do. I think that has drastically changed over the last 10 years for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Woodworks seems more like it's almost like you're not just music, you know. It's like it literally is just it's an experience. So it's visual. I mean, even at your shows, it's a visual thing. It's not just you up there, singing and belting out those amazing vocals, and it's an experience. And now, going into your music videos and. Yeah, so that's definitely how I see it. So I guess it kind of answers my other question, because I was going to ask how you feel your music has evolved over the years, but it's definitely evolved you went from something more folky to the power music that you are now. Any other thoughts come to mind on how your music's evolved?
Ooh, it's just been 10 years of expanding.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
So-
taken some time to listen to some really, old stuff, like old demos and stuff?
Yeah, we'll do that occasionally.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, our very first album we're going to put up on Bandcamp next week for you to download, which has never been on the internet before, or it hasn't in a long time.
It hasn't been
so-
released anywhere.
Right. We had physical CDs that we put out, but kind of took everything off the internet. So it's going to be on Bandcamp stream, our very first album. So you can
Wow.
hear.
So everybody gets to hear our
Where we came from.
our infancy
Yeah.
sounds.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about the single Old Habits. That was the first newer single that you have dropped that's on the album. What's the background on the song?
Well, we actually played around with that melody and that basically that whole song instrumentally for a really long time.
It was about 2 years.
Yeah.
And-
And we never played it out because it was never finished.
Because somebody didn't write lyrics for it.
Yeah. So I finally wrote some lyrics, and it's basically just about like re-examining, especially with like this whole year, like not really being able to see friends like I want to, just realizing some of the bad habits of me being out and about, like basically like overextending myself in social situations to where I just feel like I can't take it anymore kind of thing.
Yeah, that I can feel that. That definitely is did some of the concept for the video, let's talk about the video of, did you go with lyrically what it was about to figure out how you were going to make this video?
Yeah, a little bit in more of an abstract way, but the idea with the video is that there's this turmoil that's kind of happening, but that it's still fun and we're dancing to it.
All right. No, I get it. And it's
Try to block out the bad things and suppress it, and then they kind of keep bubbling up, and then the song kind of explodes in the middle of it, and then goes back to the happy dancing stuff. So it's kind of this wave that we're riding.
right. Yeah. Let me tell you, I'm very glad that I don't have to have a 3.5 minute radio edit, because you would lose so much of the song. I think for that, not like literally lose some of the song, but the whole song itself, you're right. You've got this like happiness, it's like this slow like build up, and then it just like explodes in the middle, and then it's like, okay, happy again. So don't want to lose any of that for sure. So but that's available now, right? Everywhere that you find your
on YouTube. It won't be available for like streaming or download until the 19th, but
Okay.
you can listen to it over and over again on YouTube.
Excellent. Oh, and KWSS. We'll play it a couple times, maybe.
Yeah.
At least twice. Two.
Exactly twice. We will play it. Yes. And then we'll be done. Oh my goodness. So, I'm so excited, and I'm so glad that you have been able to get this album out there, and that quarantine hasn't completely killed you guys. And that was another bad side to things, is seeing a lot of bands just not be able to, just for whatever reason, sometimes it was good, sometimes it was just couldn't handle it. And it is what it is. It's been an interesting time, but we will rebuild. As you look towards the rest of this year, because now we have, people are being vaccinated and numbers are dropping, and there is a somewhat optimistic outlook going into next year. What are your hopes as you look towards it? What do you want to see this year?
Well, I'd like for all of us to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Steve's already got his first vaccination.
We're trying to get an appointment. We're working on it.
I just signed up to volunteer, and so maybe.
Oh yeah, you should just do that. But I think one of the things too about it is that because this last year we haven't been able to predict and like book things out in advance because we don't know what's going on. I think for me at least, it's a lot easier to just kind of like go with the flow and see how the world starts turning when it does, before really putting myself into it or putting us into it.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we'll write a whole new record.
Yeah.
There you go. And then maybe like by fall or even early 2022, you can have like a banger release show and maybe we can all be there. Yeah, and we can all be there and just awkwardly cry and hug each other for like 3 hours. It'll be great.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh my goodness. Well, I am so glad that you guys came on and joined me for a little while today, and I miss you all very much. And I hope that, I hope that, 2021 would be a great year to see you guys in person. But if not, you guys are welcome to come and Zoom with me anytime. Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. So for our radio listeners, we are going to play Old Habits in the 939 Local Spotlight. And again, the entire video will be available on the KWSS Facebook page and also over on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, Dani.